Hey guys, I'm Marshall Wilkinson. I'm going to be talking to you guys today about sales. And I know that that's a tough subject for many people, but if you're in business, you got to learn how to do it and you truly need to understand it. Now, if you go on my page, there's a lot of material about sales. I've got sales in my ALP University. Every Tuesday night, I have a sales call called Closer School. I'm well versed in sales. I've done over $2.5 billion in construction deals, negotiated numerous change orders, and the largest claim at the New York City Controller's Office. I know everything about sales as it relates to sales in my industry and, dare I say, other industries. When I learned sales in the 90s and in the 2000s, and I learned from some of the older guys that I gleaned many insights from, what I've noticed in 2024 is that selling is very, very different today than it was in the late 90s and early 2000s. See, in the late 90s and early 2000s, I learned how to do hard closing. I learned all of the word tracks and all of the closes, and he says this and you say that, and the volley back and forth to kind of wear a person out, get them to see the logic, and get them to a point of time where they feel like a 10, ask for the deal over and over again and get the deal. In 2024, that isn't the case. Does that stuff still work? Yes, it can. It's still human nature and psychology, but it's exhausting. Okay, at 42 years old, been doing this for a long time. I've made a lot of money doing it. I have zero energy to wrestle somebody over money to do something that they either can't afford or they truly don't want to do, especially in consulting. If you don't have the money, you don't want to do it, I don't want to give you my time. So it's not worth it me wrestling somebody. But even outside of consulting, other industries in 2024, this is a completely different world that we're living in. Completely different world. Access to the internet has changed everything. Everyone has information before they pull the trigger. They've studied it, they've spreadsheeted it, they've thought about it, they've saved up. A qualified buyer, somebody that comes out of the marketplace and comes towards you, believe me, as somebody who's educated on what you're selling, is ready to make a move. They just need a little bit of motivation and they need somebody to ask for the deal. Selling today is easier than it ever has been. And that leads me to my next point, which is a truth, which is a foundational truth that you should be building your business and your career upon, is that marketing precedes sales 100% of the time. In 2024, the best way of selling is to be building a pipeline. See, back in the day, when we used to have to hard close people, that's because there weren't as many outlets to get the message out. And the outlets that were available were incredibly expensive. And so every lead you had to really grind it to a pulp. And you came off very thirsty because, in fact, you were thirsty for the business. But in 2024, people don't want to do business with thirsty people. And you have numerous mediums that cost nothing to get your message out to attract people to your message. I believe a pipeline is the most important thing in selling. And I believe you should be focusing your efforts on marketing rather than remembering every script and every rebuttal that's out there. I believe that you need to ask people questions and see if your product or service fits their needs, and then ask them what part of your product or service do they like the most, and then they tell you, and then ask them very simply, would you rather have the benefit of that now or later? Tell me yes or tell me no, either way, I gotta go. Because your time on that person, listen to me, your time on that person is better spent marketing. See, I have been in a position where I've hard closed people and they've been the worst customers and a thorn in my side for decades. Because I closed a person who shouldn't have been closed, and I took their money, and now I'm in bed with these people and I have to deliver my service or my product to these people who really weren't sold in the first place. I manipulated them to say yes. And now they're getting all of my time. I've already received the money. The money's already spent. My time is already spent. And then I feel like I can't market. I'd much rather you guys be doing business with people who are interested in doing business with you in 2024. See this thing? This is called a camera. You can pick it up anywhere. Go to Best Buy and buy one. Get in front of the camera and get your message out. That is the most important thing of selling. Educate people on your product and your service. Stand out as the expert in your space. If you're not the expert in your space, become the expert in your space. Do not fake the funk. Do not be a charlatan. Don't talk about things you know nothing about. Get out there and show the world how great you are and how much of an expert you are, and build a pipeline. Then you'll be able to charge a premium, because the people attracted to your message already understand that you're the real deal, and they've reached out to you because they know there's going to be a transaction on the other end. Now, I can hear it from maybe car salesmen, investment salesmen. Marshall, we've got to get out there. We've got to make the calls. We've got to make the pitches. That's fine. There's nothing wrong with advocating for your product or service, going out there and cold calling and going to networking events. There's nothing wrong with that. My point is, focus on a pipeline in whatever manner you're going to get it. If you can't get in front of a camera because you work in a corporate environment and all your corporate overlords want to check every word you say, which I understand for the corporate guys, unfortunately, you're going to have to rely on the leads they give you and through the traditional mechanisms and means that they're allowing you to go out and prospect. But focus on a pipeline, man, because even the people on the other side of that phone or on the other side of that Zoom are living in 2024. They're not living in 1998 anymore. They're not living in 2003. This is a completely different customer who's educated and doesn't want to be forced into making a decision that they really aren't sold on. And you don't want that customer, because that customer will be the worst customer of your life. See, in entrepreneurship and in business, listen to me very carefully. In entrepreneurship and in business, we're out there, we have to drive revenue. We need customers, no money, no business. But do not end up making money your God. Do not worship money. If anything, focus on being better at deploying your service or your product to people, because your product and service will speak for itself and you'll get a networking effect that way. Do not think about the money. Think about servicing that person. Spend your time and energy on getting your messaging out. Spend your time on that. And closing deals will be far easier than you ever expected. Now, we can still get into the weeds on selling and closing. You still got to get over your fear of asking people for money. You still need to really and truly understand that money is just a tool. People are going to pay money for results. They're going to pay money for a product. They're going to use the money as a tool to get something in return. So there are still some psychological barriers if you're a salesperson or an entrepreneur that you really need to get over when it comes to money. But the old school understanding of selling and hard closing, in my opinion, those days are over. And that's good news for you. So I would suggest get a camera, get your message out, focus on marketing and getting a pipeline so you're not thirsty. You start attracting people that are interested in your message, that are interested in doing business with you, and close them the way that I just outlined in the beginning of this video. And I promise you, you'll live a happier life. You'll close more deals with better customers, most importantly, and you'll have a better business. I hope this message finds you guys well. I hope you take it to heart. I hope you really take action on it, and I'll see you on the next one.